everybody. Welcome to the show. What do you know? I can't say that. That's Jake Chersky saying. Sorry, Jake. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, and hope you had a wonderful weekend as always. And yes, I always say happy Monday, but why not be happy on Monday, right? Hope you had a good weekend anyway. How's the Christmas shopping going? That good, eh? Slow down, take some time. You know what? I know it's a busy time of year, but all year's busy, really. And I've never understood the last minute shopping because it's December 25th every year. Every year it's December 25th. I guess it's kind of like Valentine's Day too, right, guys? You're like, oh yeah, or Mother's Day. Oh, I got to get out there and get that card last minute. That one more thing. Oh, I forgot to get the cookies. I don't know. What do you do for this time of the year? Holiday season. Wherever you're watching from in the world, as we broadcast simultaneously throughout United Kingdom, all throughout the United States, in Canada, in Australia, in Ireland, and now in South Africa. We're officially out there as well. So I'll say Merry Christmas, and I'll say Happy Holidays, and just happy festive season, however you celebrate. Want you to enjoy this festive time with friends and family. Kevin Jacks is still, you're still trying to find the perfect gift for you. Really? Wow. I expect something great from you, Kevin. I'm always up for, new cameras, routers. I got my new routers today, as you probably saw that. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I ordered some new cool routers for my live streaming side of the business. My friends at WeStream. It's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy a good one. They've been really helpful to me. Although I have to say, guys, I wish you would have told me about those sooner, but they did come along. Whoa, things are flickering. What's going on? And I got, you won't be able to see them here, but I got two new, brand new monitors, 32-inch curved monitors sitting here in front of me. It's wonderful. And I got some new lighting and everything. Things are good. What's advice? Get to the stores as soon as they open, or late night, 10 p.m. Okay. All right. Kevin Jack says. There's a new show, Kevin Jack Says. Would anybody watch that? My friend Kevin Jack from WeStream down St. Catharines Way. I hope you're doing well. And for anybody else who is watching the show, wherever you're watching from, whatever countries you're watching from, we're also live on the Radio Show Network, the Talk Show Network, the Live Video Hub. We want to say thank you to them. Brigetti Live. There is a link above my horns here. There's a link to be watching directly to the show so that we can see your comments. So there you go. And what's that? We're just gaining confidence in themselves. We weren't keeping it from you. Oh, sure. Whatever. I believe you. If anything, they're just extra routers that I needed to have anyway. So that's good. All right. Enough talking about that. Everybody else around here, hope you had a good weekend. And of course, Mondays are always good. Happy Mondays are always good because we get to talk to some amazing people doing amazing things in our community. And actually this week, somebody from out of town, but is supporting us around here as well too. So looking forward to that. Barry Loxton is out there as well saying hello. Hello, Barry. How are you? Good to see you. Let me check on my guests there. I think Paula's there. I can hear you, but I can't see you, Paula. So atta girl. You can't hear her, but I can hear her. Okay. All right. Well, let's carry on with the show. Always some great things happen. This is one of the great things I love about this community where we live. The music side of things, the musician community or the musical community and entertainment community in Sarnia-Lambton is very strong. In fact, I sort of feel a bit like we're a bit of a hub for the music world around here. But what I will say that I like to see, and I saw this recently with our friends from Beer Store Money, I see from my friend Harold Collins, getting out there and promoting themselves and finding venues. Paula, you're good there. Finding venues to promote themselves and get themselves out there instead of saying, come and hire me and you promote me. No. You got to get out there and hustle, if you will. And this is something else that's come to. I've seen some open mics, a lot of open mics coming back to life around the city. And coming up to the Blue Line, which Tuesday night if you're watching this live, tomorrow night at the Blue Line. Where is that? Downtown Front Street in Sarnia. And a great little club. And they're going to be doing open mic every Tuesday night. Our friend Chris from Beer Store Money is going to be hosting that as well at the Blue Line. Tuesday nights, open mic at 7 p.m. This is the kicker. I see a lot of open mics happening. They start at 9, 10 o'clock. And that's cool. And I'll still go to those ones. But to start early so I can get out early, and then my wife expects me home early too then, right? But it's good to get out early and support some of this music that's going on. But I like the early start time. So that'll be downtown at the Blue Line here in Sarnia. Starts at 7 o'clock, as I mentioned. Bring an instrument. Play covers, play originals, bring a harmonica, whatever you want to do, get up there. And I'm going to do my best to stop down and see Chris and support him at the Blue Line. So musicians, take note, get out there, spread the word, have some fun at Blue Line with our friend Chris. And then later on in the week, come on down and see me down at the Moose Lodge for our monthly karaoke. We normally do it the fourth Friday of every month, but this time we're doing it on the third Friday simply because of the holidays and vacation, going to Las Vegas. Looking forward to that. Come on down from 8 till midnight. Again, another early start. And even if you don't sing, we need people in the audience. So come on out and clap for your favorite singer, or just come out and enjoy the fun. Of course, there's a cash bar available there as well. They have food specials, karaoke food specials, and they usually give me some gift cards and stuff to give away just for showing up. You don't have to sing. It's not a contest, just a whole lot of fun. And we get a good crowd out there. It really is a good time. So I hope you'll come and join us. Again, starts 8 o'clock at the Moose Lodge. All right. Well, this next topic, before I get into my first guest there in a few minutes, I got to tell you, it's kind of like the stock market right now with these guys. The Sarnia Sting have been up and down all season long. They really got off to a rough start in the beginning, and then they came out and had a long winning streak and showed everybody that they can beat not only the best teams, but the best of the best by when they beat like the number one team in the league, and they beat them well and strong. And then things flipped the other way. It's really been a roller coaster of a ride, more than a game for the Sarnia Sting. And now they're back again, showing that they can do the wins. Of course, starting off with the Erie Otters, they won against them. And then Friday, they would come down to London to beat London on their turf. 3 goals in the first period that were unanswered by the London Knights, and the final score coming out of that. A little bit of response coming up in the second period with London, but the Sting would prevail. Final score there of 5-3. And this year's Sarnia Sting recap brought to you by Oswald's Diner and Active Ears Hearing Center here in Sarnia. And then they would come into the Mississauga Steelheads, and they would win, final score of 7-6. But I got to tell you, they come out in the first period. Jacob Perreault would get the first goal, and notably Jacob Perreault with a hat trick in this game, his first hat trick. So congratulations to Jacob Perreault. And then things swung the other way again, and Mississauga was leading 2-1. And I got to tell you, it really got a little nerve-wracking out there. But then the Sarnia Sting would come back, 2 back-to-back goals, and then several other goals to finish things off, 7-6. And if you were there, you know it was like 4-3, then it was 4-4, then it was 5-4, then it was 5. Like, it was just back and forth. It was 5-5, and then Mississauga jumped ahead 6, and that's when you start. It was a nail biter for sure. But congratulations to the Sarnia Sting, showing that they can come out on top. Final score there, 7-6. Now, we did catch up with Jacob Perreault after the game, who talked to us about his hat trick and about their upcoming game against Saginaw, which they want to put the last game against Saginaw behind them. That one didn't go well with the final score there of, we'll just forget about it. But they're coming back to Saginaw coming up this week on Thursday. But let's go right now. We're going to take you to an exclusive interview with Jacob Perreault. Take a look, and then we'll be back.
Here post-game with tonight's third star hat trick on the night, Jacob Perreault. More importantly than the offensive, just the 2 points, I think, and 3 games in a row for you guys. Nice to finally start getting rewarded for the effort that's been there the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think it was good for us, just like all the guys out for a couple weeks. So I think it's good. A couple guys stepping up, and I think Greg's and Tabak, they had a really good game today, and including my line mates, I think we played really good today.
It was back and forth there for a while. You guys really seemed to kind of grab that momentum late in that second period. The first half of the game, Mississauga kind of kept you guys down, but you could feel the momentum switch there at the end of that second period.
Yeah, I think we had a slow start. Just I think the voice in the locker room, a couple of guys have stepped up, and I think that was a big game changer there. And I think we came out in the second and the third a little more jump, and I think that's what made the difference.
That was a feel getting that first hat trick.
Yeah, it feels good. Between the second, a couple guys that were asking me just like, are you going to get it? And I was just like, I'll try, but I was trying not to worry about it, just try to get the win, and luckily I got it, and it's a pretty good feeling.
You got 2 goals a lot of times these last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to get that third here, so I mean, I don't know how many games I got 2 goals, but there was a couple. So when I got that one, a great pass from Roth, I thought there was a couple chills going through my body, and it was a good feeling.
Was it on the Christmas list?
Maybe it was up there.
Any special ritual because of the hat trick tonight?
No, I just try to keep it simple. Just do the same thing every game. I usually get a puck and just get the hands going and then just get my stretches, but that's about it.
Coming ahead down the road to Saginaw, kind of want to forget the last time you played Saginaw, but what's going to be different this time?
Yeah, I think just getting a good start would be good. Just keep moving our feet, and I think we can get the win. Just bring everything we got and go from there.
You guys have been used to playing shorthanded this season with guys out of the lineup. You guys are pretty banged up right now, obviously. Do you think it's helped you through the course of this? As guys being thrown into different positions and younger guys playing lots of minutes?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of top guys were out of lineups, and I think one of the guys that stepped up a lot is Theo Hill. I think he's been playing really well lately, and I think he's helped us a lot.
You had a little slump earlier in the season. The last month or so, you've been just on fire. I mean, what's been going on with your game?
I mean, I think at the beginning of the season, I just wasn't getting the bounces, but I think I have a little more jump to my game now, and I think just getting more puck luck, and obviously with the teammates I'm playing with now, it's pretty good. Like, obviously I was still playing with good guys at the beginning of the year, but I think right now it's going pretty well.
All right, there you go. Jacob Perreault, congratulations to him on his hat trick, and looking forward to getting down, taking on Saginaw. And then they'll be back here taking on the Windsor Spitfires here as well on Friday night. So we'll hope you join us for that. And, of course, I'll be live down on the concourse, as always, pregame and intermission shows. And you never know who's going to show up and join me. Jay Peckham's been joining me, Jake Chersky, and my friend Danny Cuchamilio. One of them will be there to help me talk about the games that are happening there. We hope you come down and join us. Go to sarniasting.com to find out all the puck drop times and get your tickets online. All right, 'tis the season. Yes, 'tis the season for giving as well. And, of course, a lot of people, everybody needs some money to make things work for them. And there's sometimes money that's needed that maybe you don't know just how much it's really being needed out there and what it's going for. And our friend Paula McKinlay is here and all ready to go to come in and join us to talk about Pigs of Hope. Hello, Paula. How are you today?
Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, however you celebrate.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Have you gotten all the shopping done?
I think I still have stocking stuffers and a few gift cards, and then I am done.
There you go. Gift cards. What would we do without gift cards? Thanks so much for being here. And, you've been doing lots with the Canadian Cancer Society. For how many years have you been involved now?
I celebrate my 10th in February.
I knew that.
10 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's always a challenge, as you and I have talked before, about to continue to raise money and to, I guess, be unique about how you raise money. But the Pigs of Hope has really been something. This is its third year for Pigs of Hope, I think.
It is. It's been going on in other communities for longer than that, but we borrowed it 3 years ago from the Owen Sound business unit.
And Pigs of Hope. Well, there's an original name.
Here's a full one.
There's a full one.
And
okay.
Here's an empty one.
Well, you keep the full one. We need to fill the empty one.
We're on it. Let's go.
Yeah. What is the Pigs of Hope, and what specifically is it supporting at the Cancer Society?
Well, we'll talk about what it supports for the Cancer Society first. It supports the Wheels of Hope transportation program. And for those that don't know what the Wheels of Hope program is, it's our way at the Canadian Cancer Society. It's our way of getting cancer patients to their treatment and home again. So it's a piece of the cancer journey that people shouldn't have to worry about. If you imagine, Dave, having a diagnosis, first of all, and then getting a treatment plan, and then making the decision, can I do my treatment plan or not, based on the fact that I can or cannot get to treatment. That's, hey, nice picture. That is a horrible, could you imagine that? A horrible feeling, because there's people in this.
It shouldn't be the thing that decides from to do or not to do.
No, it's amazing. Like people in this community that can't get to their treatment, whether they don't have reliable vehicles, they don't have friends and family that live around, or they don't want to ask for help. And
there's some good points in there. One is, family, like it doesn't always live in the same city as mom and dad anymore, and then we have our own lives. That's the circle of life. And then we like, oh, but that's mom and dad. I got to help them or whoever that, or brother or sister, whatever the situation may be. And I like that you pointed out, or don't want to ask for help, because I think that's hard for a lot of us.
That's a big thing. And I see come into our office a lot of times where, oh, no, I can do it on my own. I can do it on my own. And my big thing always back to someone, whether it's rides to treatment or what it is, how many casseroles can you accept? Like, how full is your freezer? You've had this diagnosis and everybody brings food, right? So except if they're telling you, if your friends and family are saying, let us help, let them take you. Yeah. And if you don't have that, let us fill in the rest of it. And but I think the big thing is to embrace the people that you love and that you invest in relationships, and let them help you. And when they can't, or when you don't have that support around here, call us. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Now, I think a lot of people, when they talk about cancer treatment out of town, I think they initially think London, at least for this area, right? But there's other areas, like you don't just drive people to London, right?
No, wherever their treatment is planned. I mean, we have kids that we fund to go to sick kids. We have a gentleman whose treatment was always in Hamilton because he was under a clinical trial. Well, wherever our volunteer drivers will take you where you need to go.
Right.
And if you think about, we even have people that live in Grand Bend but have treatment in London or Sarnia. So we utilize the drivers up in that area. There's no boundaries. It's where you need to go and when you need to get there.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, of course, you rely on volunteers for this as well, but there's still a cost involved, gas, and are volunteers using their own vehicles, or how does that work?
Yeah, so how our program works, yes, it's volunteer focused, but they do get mileage. So they're using their own vehicles, and they do get paid a minimal mileage. And they're not doing it for the money, they're doing it to give back for whatever reason. And so there is still a cost. What we've been able to work out around the Sarnia-Lambton area is, on average, a trip to treatment and home again, because we will bring you home, is approximately $50 per ride. Right. So that needs to get funded. That's local. And, we have there's cost associated with it. So the Wheels of Hope, or the Pigs of Hope program that's come into play, helps tremendously to fuel that fund.
Right. You mentioned the word local in there, and I always like to bring this up because I know you get challenged with this question often. When I donate to the Canadian Cancer Society, does my money stay local? And the answer, I think, is yes, sort of.
Yep. So, I mean, we can go into my spiel on, yes, we don't have a research arm here, right? Sarnia doesn't have it. So why would you go and fund something that we don't have here? That's ridiculous to me. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if there is a treatment plan, or if there's new treatments or new research projects that, are going to find a cure or find better treatments for lung cancer, but it's funded in Calgary, who cares? Who cares where the money it's going to fund? We make sure that it's the best research. And obviously Sarnia doesn't have that. But when we do talk local, there's lots of local things that, when people, I want my money to stay local. Well, the Wheels of Hope program is absolutely local. It's local drivers driving neighbors.
Yeah.
But also with that, we also have our wig lending station, our scarf lending, which a lot of people don't know about. We have a whole wig program that people can come in, grab a wig for their cancer journey. It's theirs. It's free. And if they want to pay it forward and bring it back, fine. If they want to burn it, bury it when their treatment's done, that's up to them. So, but today, yeah, we are doing Pigs of Hope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I asked that question for a reason, because I know you have that answer, but I think it's important for people to understand, because we do come across that. Well, I want my money to stay local. Yeah. Yep. But like
it affects local.
It affects local.
It affects individual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If it's going to help my dad or my friend or my mom or whoever it is, and that's the research I'm with you 100% on that. So appreciate that. The different. There's so many different things that the Canadian Cancer Society does, not just as abroad, but locally. That, and you sort of mentioned it there. Like, a lot of people don't know about the wigs and all this other different stuff. Do you have a number of how many different services are really provided locally?
Oh, you know what? I don't. Locally, because even though, say for example, our peer-to-peer program, which is one-on-one support, so it's not a support group, it's a support one-on-one, that is housed all over Canada. So your peer-to-peer match, so if I'm a cancer patient or a caregiver and I want someone to talk to, if I'm not feeling up to going to a few of the cancer specific support groups in Sarnia-Lambton on the third Tuesday of the month, guess what? You don't have to wait. We have the peer matching program, and it goes from coast to coast. So your peer match could be in Vancouver, BC. It's right. Whatever's best for you and the best match. So though that volunteer may not sit in Sarnia-Lambton locally, I would still call that a local program.
Absolutely.
We have our wigs. We have our mastectomy bras. We have prosthesis. I can never say it. You name it. We have knitted knockers. We have a ladies group that knits the cotton new boobies. So I'll stop in Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and see all the wonderful things that we've got.
Yeah, and you're conveniently located right downtown Sarnia, in Christina Street, there down by Christina and Exmouth, right?
Yep. So we're right across from the police station in the Chamber of Commerce building.
Perfect. What kind of things, though, like, I guess you sort of mentioned it there too, like, we always think about the victims of dealing with cancer from young age to older age. But what about the families as well? Like, the families must need some support and guidance as well, to just dealing with the, I guess, stress of it all.
Absolutely. And so often they're the forgotten soldiers in all of it. So we always make sure that the caregivers are celebrated along with the survivors at our Relay for Life. And we can talk about that in June. But we also have they're able to use the peer matching program. We have an online forum for cancer patients and caregivers called Cancer Connections that they can go on, ask questions. It's a cancer community. They have the peer matching. They have cancer information services, which is in multiple languages, available all the time. And it's a simple 1-888 number that you can give a shout and find out more about the cancer diagnosis. They will not give you medical advice, but they talk like you and I do. So all of those big words for the word cancer, they can break that down for you.
Wonderful. Well, let's talk more about the Pigs of Hope. I just wanted to get kind of a little bit of everything out there, but
thank you.
Pigs of Hope.
Let's do it.
How do I get involved in the Pigs of Hope? What do I got to do if I want to be a part of it?
So if you want to be, and I know you will be, a Pigs of Hope adopting parent, you come on in and see those little piggy banks. Here we go. Look at, full, empty. So come on into the office right across from the police station Monday to Friday and adopt one. What we're asked, they're not real pigs. I know there's been a misconception out there that they're real pigs, but they're a fun piggy bank, and it's a great way to get kids involved. I mean, here's a great way to start them on their philanthropic journey. Understand why they're filling the pig, and They go find change in the couch. They find dimes on the ground. They ask grandma and grandpa. But it's not just for the kids. This program is an easy fundraiser. All we're asking is that whoever adopts them, a minimum of $50 is raised, so that if you're going to adopt it, that at least will support one ride for one person. And typically, someone who's going through cancer treatment, we usually take them 13 to 18 times. So if you times $50 times all of that, we need as many funds to help this program that we can. I mean, last year we drove 250,000 kilometers just in Sarnia-Lambton alone. That's not the whole entire country. That's just here. So that's what the people that are in real need, and we don't turn anybody away. So whoever needs it gets what they need. And, once they get in that car, away they go. We drop them off. We pick them up. They don't have to worry about parking. They don't have to worry about weather. They just need to focus on getting better.
Yeah. What a great program and a neat way to show support to those who need it. And it's sort of a creative way too. Like, okay, now I got my peg, right? Now I got to fill this up for $50 or more. I could take this to the office, right? I could take it to a church group, or I take it to school, or like, it really seems like it would be easy to come up with $50.
And we've had some amazing groups. We've seen it go to basketball games. We've seen it go to hockey games. Yes, we've seen it go to church. We've seen it go to youth groups. Even those other organizations that, need to do their own fundraising, it's sitting on their desks. Their family and friends are taking it because they get it. They get the importance of this program. And it, like I said, it's easy. We had a lady come in this morning and she's like, I want that. I'm having a big Christmas party. All of them are coming for dinner and it's sitting right in the middle of the table. It's going to be our centerpiece. And awesome. And they have until the end of January to do it. I mean, we'll take it whenever it comes back. But the end of January is a great opportunity because provincially we have an anonymous corporate matcher. So for every $50 that's raised, they are going to do a 2 times match. So that 50 will turn into 150.
Oh, wow. Now, an anonymous matcher.
Yep. We have yet to be told. This is the second year that this donor has done this, and we have yet to be notified on who it is.
Well, if they're willing to do it.
Absolutely. And we've got a great organization locally that kicked off this campaign by donating $8,000 to this program. And that was Shell Canada. They believed in the program. They believe in the Wheels of Hope program. I mean, some of their employees and retirees are some of our volunteer drivers, but have used the program. So they kicked us off this year by doing an $8,000 donation.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And what a great idea about taking it to the Christmas party as a centerpiece. Yep. I mean, because we're typically going to the Christmas party and our boss is paying for it. Mm-hmm. So we should be able to put $5 or $10 in there to,
That's right. This piggy, there's a slot large enough that bills can go in it. So not a problem. You can get those bills or just undo the belly. But we even had a group come in that's hosting a New Year's Eve party. And the family is hosting it. So they're like, nope, we're going to make sure that people fill that pig. Everything else is on us. So it's important for them to fill that pig.
What a great idea. Paula, thanks so much for all your hard work, and everybody down there does for the Canadian Cancer Society locally and everything. Is there anything else you want to throw out there before I let you go back to work?
Well, I would like to say to you, Merry Christmas, and thank you for always being an amazing supporter of ours. And we couldn't do it without individuals like you in this community. So thanks, David.
Well, it's my pleasure, but thanks for the kind words. And Merry Christmas back to you. And say hello to your daughter. I know she's doing awesome stuff too, right? So
she is.
Keep it going out there. And I hope I run into you if I see you out in the street before, I say out in the street, like before Christmas. Big hugs coming your way.
Thank you.
Take care, Paula. Paula McKinlay from the Canadian Cancer Society. Look at her. She's holding up her pigs there. And she says, we got to get these things filled up, at least $50. And I heard a lot of great ideas in there. Take them to the Christmas party. Take them to church. Take them to work. Just go down and get one. We'll put the phone number up on the screen here. You can give them a call if you want to find out more. There's the number. Or just go down and see them across from the police station, the Chamber of Commerce building, and upstairs. And Paula's the one with the big smile going all the time. So we really appreciate her. Thanks again, Paula. All right, moving on now. Tis the season for giving again. It is an important time of year for a lot of people. And we do tend to reach a little deeper into our pockets, but the need never goes away. I even talk like hunger and homelessness and all of these other things that we're talking about. They don't take a vacation, and the United Way is one of the ways that you can help if you're not sure where to decide all the time where to go. Our friend and Executive Director, Dave Brown. Thanks for being here, Dave.
Good afternoon, David. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm
Great.
feeling I'm getting a little more Christmassy-er. I'm starting to feel it a little bit more.
Well, that's good. Well, it'll be here before you know it. It's amazing how quickly December flies by. It seems November seems to drag on a bit, and then all of a sudden it's December 1st, and then it's like Christmas is next week.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I was just at the Tall Ships a week ago.
Right, exactly.
Well, United Way has a needs target, and there's a bit of a struggle going on there, is there?
There is a struggle. Right now, as of just before airtime, we hit $1,650,000, which is 87% of the $1.9 million needs target. So that leaves us exactly $250,000 to go. Now, we are expecting the corporate confirmation from Nova Chemicals anytime now. It could be anytime in the next day or two. So that'll bring us into the early 90%, low 90% levels. We've got Dow is going to be announcing shortly. Lambton College, S&C Lavalin. So once they come in, we're going to have a clear idea where we're going to be. But we anticipate that the last 5 or 6% of the drive is going to be $100 at a time here and there. So at that point, we forget about the 1.9 million and we start thinking in terms of $100,000. That's the new campaign, the new goal.
Yeah, well, and certainly grateful to the big corporate world companies that come on and support their communities, and that's great. And I know that's a big part of it all. But let's not wait for them. Let's imagine they're not coming along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is maybe the way to think about it and go, okay, folks. And Dave, I know it's difficult for United Way. We just had Paula on there.
Right.
Everybody's asking for money, food and please give. And of course, we know people can only give so much.
That's right. And we know that they're all very worthwhile, doing great jobs, all with different mandates. And you're right. I mean, I'm not going to stand here just as I know Paula wouldn't say, oh, this year he's better than that year. They're all great. It all comes down to what personally you like to support, and whether you like to support research or you like to support seniors aging at home or whatever. They're all good, and they all do some fabulous work.
Yeah. And I guess it depends where your heart lies, right? That's
right.
Typically where we tend to donate. But one of the great things about the United Way, though, is they support so many different services.
That's right.
That if you're somebody who's maybe having trouble deciding which, where do I spend my money? Where do I donate? I'm not really sure. United Way is a good option for people because of that.
United Way is a great option. You're absolutely right, David. We have 18 agencies, 36 different programs and services. We also have venture grants. Those 18 agencies represent about 94% of our allocations. The other 5 or 6% is what we call venture grants, which is for 1 year funding. Currently, we're funding the the Good Shepherd income tax program on an annual basis right now. That's for people to get who are at lower income are able to get their income taxes done at no charge by the Good Shepherd. So we're funding that program. We're funding a memory clinic, which is a joint partnership between Rapids Family Health Team and the Alzheimer's Society. We're funding cadets right now on a venture grant program, assisting young people, teens, in rural Lambton, wanting to be a cadet. And they've had some outstanding success. And just recently, we're funding the Habitat for Humanity program, specifically the Handyman, Handywoman program on a subsidized basis. So you're right, David. We've got those 18 agencies, but we're also very current and very proactive at funding newer programs that are new needs in our community.
Well, and that's and a lot of these programs are really, sometimes they affect a general group, but they're a lot of times very direct. Like you mentioned, go back to the end of Good Shepherd for a minute. You know, I think
Right.
we always think of, and I just had Miles on the other day. The first thing you think of is food,
Right.
but it's so much more than that. And you mentioned the tax program. Sometimes, a lot of times, if people are getting back, you know, $500 or more, that's the difference between what do I buy my child or what do I buy for myself, and cleaning products, and just the fact that they, you know, paying to have that done. And I certainly don't want to do my own taxes.
Well, you raise a good point. I mean, maybe it costs $300 for a professional tax preparer to do your taxes, and then all of a sudden that $500 becomes $200.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing too is there's a lot of tax credits, there's a lot of rebates, etc., that are based on those income tax returns. So if you don't do your income tax, you may not be eligible for certain tax credits, which could then be monthly deposited to your bank account. In fact, to your point, Miles told me just last month that they did almost 2,900 tax returns in 2019. Wow. And 1/3 of those people do not go to the inn for any other programs. So we both view that as a great outcome that is less taxing on the food bank, less taxing on the soup kitchen and their other programs, that money is enough to keep them self-sustaining. And so, you know, we're happy to be able to provide that $28,000 this year so that they can do that, which not only lessens the need for the food bank to some degree, but also allows the Good Shepherd to funnel more of their resources to the donation process of foods.
Right. And, you know, the choices to where the United Way gets to or has to decide, okay, who are we going to support? I mean, they're always, obviously there's some that are repeated, but let's help people understand that it's just because you got supported this time around does not mean you get supported every time around. There's a really strict policy process in place here.
Hey, you're absolutely right, David. We do 3-year funding for the agencies so they can better do a long-range planning and they can focus more on providing service and less time worrying about their funding from the United Way. But that 3-year process actually begins in the 3rd year of the previous cycle. So it's almost a year-long process to identify who we're going to fund for the next 3 years. And every year we have 1 or 2 drop off and 1 or 2 new ones come on. And new ones this time around, of course, is the John Howard Society, which operates both an adult and a youth program for self-referrals and in referrals from maybe the schools or whatnot. Referrals not from the courts, but from private. So they've got a very good success rate. And the other one is the Lambton County Developmental Services, which offers a respite program in rural Lambton for anybody who has loved ones who need special needs or special care on a regular basis. This respite program allows loved ones to leave their son or daughter, brother or sister with professionally trained staff for 1 day a week so that they can go and get their own doctor's appointments done or their own grocery shopping done or just to relax and have a little mental holiday. You can imagine the stress on some of those families. So, you know, there's 2 new agencies that have gone through the process and are meeting emerging and growing needs in our community.
Yeah. And I think the fact that we talk local, you know, a lot, does my money stay local and how does it get spent are the questions. But I think it's important for people to understand too, that the decision makers, well, it's not just Dave Brown and a couple of people in the office there. There's a board of directors of about 12 people that are local?
15.
15. Okay.
15. And to your point, it's not Dave Brown at all. I mean, it's those 15 board members that make the final decision. I mean, I operate the day-to-day operations, of course, but in terms of who we fund and how much we fund, what policies are going to be, what our values are going to be, that's all board decisions. And some people just like to think, okay, the money raised in our community is used in the community. And that's valuable information for a lot of people. But to your point, local decision-making makes a lot of sense because the needs in our community are different from the needs in Ottawa or Toronto or even Windsor, Essex, and London, Middlesex. We can best determine the local needs in our community that make the most sense here.
Yeah, and that's important. That like you say, community, the needs are completely different,
right?
And I think the not just the needs are different, but the mindset of people in different communities is completely different as well. And that's got to have an effect on how you make your decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, we just don't, sit in a silo and decide what would be great agencies to fund this year. We get a lot of input from not only our currently funded agencies, but we've got great relationships with some of our non-funded agencies, and they're non-funded for a variety of reasons. So we get together with them and talk openly, as well as all three government levels of government. So you're right, it's quite a process. We also get a lot of information from those venture grant agencies I was talking about. And if you receive venture grant funding, it's a great indicator for us to see if the program is going to be effective, and if they are having an overall impact on a particular need in our community.
Yeah. So over the course of that 3 years, then is United Way monitoring these things as well, or you just go, okay, congratulations, you got 3 years, have at her?
No, we very much, in fact, every agency is required on a quarterly basis to report not only stats, but we want to know outcome measures. We want to know what the key performance indicators are. Are kids going to stay in school, and are they doing better in school? And what are their conflict resolution skills? Are they getting into less trouble? So we'll monitor that on a quarterly basis. And if an agency's late, their monthly allocation amount will be withheld until we get that information. And there's been some examples, not many, but there's been some recent examples where we've actually cut an agency because their key performance indicators have not been where they and we agreed that they should be, and they're not having the impact or the greatest impact that was originally discussed. Again, that doesn't happen very often, but we know on a quarterly basis what the outcomes are from people's contributions. It's just like your own investments or RSP, David. You want to know on at least on a quarterly basis, what kind of returns are you getting for your investments? What are you getting for those costs? We do the same thing with charitable donations. For that $189,000 we give to Big Brothers, we want to know on a quarterly basis, is it having an effect on youth crime, on absenteeism, dropout rates, and that kind of thing.
Right. Well, and I look here, I'm just bring it up on the screen here. I've got your website up here, and I take a look at this. And well, first of all, it's really easy to understand, for example, to go through and everything's like right there from how to apply for a venture grant program, eligible, the requirements to your campaign and who you support as well. I think that's something that probably a lot of people would want to make sure that they're aware of, is what am I supporting? And it seems pretty accessible.
Very much. In fact, we're quite proud of that website because you're right. It's very transparent. All of our financial data is up there for the last number of years. So anybody can go back and do the research or identify exactly what the last 12-month fiscal year has been. There's two ways you can find out how much we're funding each agency. Right on the very front page, the home page, you scroll down and every one of those 36 programs are listed. And then if you look into the community investments tab, you go down to the agency directory, you get some more information on what the agency itself. There's the list you're looking at.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great. Big Brothers, Boys and Girls, right. Canadian Mental Health, CNIB, Community Living, Family,
it's all right there. And then if you click on the community investments on the very top, and then you'll see agency directory, you have more information on what exactly that agency does, contact information in case you or somebody want to refer somebody there. Yeah, you see it there. So there's a wealth of information. We like to think within one or two clicks on our website. And, we're always getting asked about campaign and administration costs. They're right there. And it's by a third-party auditor. BDO is the group that does our audit in the last 5 or 6 years. That's third party. That's not, you're not trusting me. That's their findings. And again, we're the only United Way in Canada. I know we've talked about this before, but it's something I'm proud of. We're the only United Way in Canada to be members of the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, you should be.
And that third party validation, that contributions are going where they should. And our board feels that's those 18 agencies and not to campaign costs.
Yeah, and the word transparency comes up a lot in this conversation, which I think is something that's important to a lot of people.
Right.
Hey, I'm giving you my money. I want to know, and I want you to be accountable to all those things, right? So,
absolutely.
Great job, fantastic on everything that you and your team of 5 have done here.
Thank you.
In Sarnia-Lambton, and I do have to move on, but Merry Christmas and all that stuff to you. I hope I run into you somewhere before the holidays, but if not, I'll see you next year.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you. And to Paula's point, you have been a terrific advocate of not only the Canadian Cancer Society or the United Way, but just about every charitable organization locally. So on behalf of both of us, thank you very much for that. And I think I'm scheduled to be on in early February 2020. So I look forward to giving you a complete campaign wrap up and to talk about some of the other events that we've got going already for 2020.
Fantastic. Dave, thanks again, buddy, and enjoy
you.
the rest of your day. I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
I look forward to that.
My friend Dave Brown from the United Way of Sarnia-Lambton, working hard along with his team and to make things happen. They're coming up short. They're waiting for some of the big boys are coming along, I know, but let's forget that they're there. Let's reach deep down into our pockets. We'll have all the links and the phone numbers again posted after the show on our Facebook page. How you can reach out, how you can make donations. You can even go right down into the office here on Lambton Mall Road. We'll post that as well, and how you can make. And to find out more, just go to their website that we showed you on the screen, theunitedway.on.ca, to find out more. Dave Brown, thanks again, my friend. All right, I've been looking forward to this one because, well, this is going to spark some entrepreneurial minds. Why did I say that? Well, there's a reason why I said that. We're going to bring my next guest in here, Justin Lafontaine, joining us. Hello, Justin.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for being here. You're in Windsor right now?
I'm in Windsor at the University of Windsor Epicenter.
Okay. Well, I know you're busy. You said you had a full day of meetings, so I appreciate you giving me the time here.
That's all right. I'm a great ambassador for Sarnia-Lambton, so excited to be collaborating with all of our partners there.
Yeah, well, let's jump right into it here and talk about Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab. What is that?
Yeah, so it's a new tourism incubator, so to speak. So people are familiar with in the tech world and in the private sector. And like in the space that I'm in today, there's a lot of small business startup type programs, centers, really encouraging people to start a business, supporting them, providing different resources. So we created this Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab as a tourism development incubator to help small businesses, individuals, and regions across the province to encourage them to come forward with some new ideas to really improve, enhance, and expand tourism offerings in our province.
Well, and that's a really tourism's a wonderful thing, like it's really the time that we can promote where we live, but it's a time where we can promote some relaxation, from the busy life. And with technology now, you would think that would be a little easier, but it's still really something that's quite challenging, isn't it?
Well, certainly tourism has a huge economic impact in the regions throughout the province and the province itself. But yeah, tourism is always evolving. Everybody's looking to explore near and far. Our province, we're fortunate to have so many things and so many diverse people, communities, attractions, things like that. But tourism, like every other business, is very competitive. So it's all about continuing to evolve, innovate, attract new markets, create new experiences that might bring people to the regions in different times of the year, maybe outside of the typical travel season during the summer. Also going maybe a little bit off the beaten track. So in Sarnia-Lambton, you have many, historical hamlets, for example, beautiful shorelines along the St. Clair River and Lake Huron. So it's really trying to connect the dots. And again, from an economic development perspective, there's business opportunity in tourism, and we work with businesses to, again, develop new ideas and kind of move them forward to market. But we also encourage businesses that may not have connected into tourism as an opportunity to think about tourism as a tool in their business development toolbox. So a number of things we do just really encourage that. And our main program is called the Spark program. So we love the word spark. It's all about sparking and encouraging people's imaginations. Our around the possibilities of Sarnia-Lambton, and what corners of the region haven't really been uncovered yet from a visitor perspective, from a business perspective, and what, again, different markets might be out there that would be interested in what Sarnia-Lambton might have to offer.
Yeah, well, and when you talk Sarnia-Lambton, at least from my perspective, I think we tend to we forget certain areas of that Lambton. I know that Sarnia sticks out ahead of that. I've been guilty of it here on the show. I say promoting Sarnia-Lambton, but because I'm right here in Sarnia, I forget sometimes to think beyond that Moldland Road, if you will. And, for example, we met out at the brewery there last week.
Stone Pickers, yeah.
Pickers, yeah. And that's the first time I've ever been there, and I had water, but
you can always go back.
I can go back.
Repeat visit.
It's not that far from here. It's 15 minutes, really. And then even go beyond a little further into Gren Bend and those areas. There's a lot going on there.
Amazing. I mean, I am becoming more of an ambassador for Sarnia-Lambton. Before this year, I hadn't really spent much time in the area. Certainly, the craft breweries that are coming online are awesome, and those are throughout Lambton County, as you mentioned. The history in the area is really incredible.
Yeah.
From a city person like myself, being out into the agricultural areas, there's a lot, I think, natural beauty, as well as the active farms. We learned at that session when I met you about a new winery that'll be coming online soon. There's a lot of new business kind of bubbling up and really celebrating and supporting what Sarnia-Lambton has to offer. But also, I think the other thing that we do as well is encourage partnerships and collaborations. So there may be businesses out there, in different areas that may not have worked together in the past. And this is hopefully an opportunity to spark some of those partnerships to, again, find ways to showcase and feature great businesses, the people, the stories throughout Lambton County. And I'd also be remiss to say that your beaches are phenomenal. And I tell people, it's not a secret to you all, but I think for a lot of people, the water and the beaches and just the experience that you can have along the waterfront is pretty incredible and something I think everybody in Sarnia-Lambton can be proud of, and I know that is proud of. And certainly, even when the weather got cold, I made a point to hit the icy waters and go for a swim when I could after a day of meetings.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, as much as we appreciate them, they're still not utilized enough. We've been ranked in the top 5 in Ontario, and we could do a lot of bragging about that. My friend David Noel, he calls it the Southwestern Ontario Riviera. I love it. And I told him he should trademark that before somebody else. There really is, and you and I talked a little bit too the other day about how, like, you're in Windsor Way, I'm in Sarnia. I still hear people say to me, "There's nothing to do in Sarnia-Lambton," and you've said, I hear people say there's nothing to do in Windsor, but when I go to Windsor, I find all kinds of things to do besides the casino. And people come to Sarnia, and I think they're pleasantly surprised about, why do we feel that way about where we live?
I'm from Toronto originally, and I can say that happens in big cities as well. People end up, you end up in your triangle, right? Go to work, go to the grocery store, go home, go to work, go to the grocery store, go home. I think it's maybe an opportunity to do a call out to the local community and explore your own backyard. I know, again, I think all of us have been in that. We get busy with our lives, and it's hard to sometimes connect and go to different events in your region or go to a new brewery like Stone Pickers or that winery that's coming online. But, maybe since we're on the cusp of 2020, I can do a call out to sort of make a resolution to your listeners in Sarnia-Lambton and beyond and kind of say, hey, in January, I'm going to go to a town within Sarnia-Lambton I haven't been to ever or in a while, and find out which businesses are there. And I think people will be pleasantly surprised to see new businesses starting up throughout the region, people of all ages, but younger people kind of coming into the market and developing new concepts for businesses. So I think 2020 is a great, to have a resolution to explore the region. Also when people say that there's not a lot to do, I always put the challenge back to them and say, well, what can you do? What kind of event? Can you do a walking tour? Can you, do a tour of your local church? Is there a beach event that you can kind of put on? It doesn't have to be big, with a small amount of people, and bring some guitars out and play music on the beach. I think we, again, in Ontario generally, in Canada, we're very fortunate. We're very fortunate people, and I think tourism is a great way to celebrate that. So you're celebrating your region, but also when people come in, you're actually adding more to the roster of things to see and do.
And it seems like you make a good point in there too. Those things were really simple. It doesn't have to be over complex. It doesn't have to be wow factor. It doesn't have to be a huge stage, right? It's just simple. I find a lot of things that are successful include storytelling, where people can meet each other, and storytelling is a big thing to be able to share. Like you mentioned, come to your local church. I'd love to go to a historical tour of the churches here in Sarnia-Lambton, or even just in Sarnia. Like, it's just, there's so much history there. I think that's something that, and we have a historical society here as well, as many places do, but those kind of things I think are often missed. I like the challenge idea too of let's go to where, boy, you really got me thinking now too. Which I guess is the Spark. Let's talk a little bit more about the Spark Grant and Mentorship Program, because you want to give some money away. That's cool.
Absolutely. And a mentorship. So not just the money, but matching people with someone from the tourism industry that will be able to help them with advice and guidance, kind of move forward with an idea. So the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab is a nonprofit initiative. As I mentioned, we're proudly based in southwestern Ontario. Our main program is called the Spark Mentorships and Grants Program. So as the name suggests, we are all about sparking new tourism ideas in the regions that we partner with throughout the province. So we're very proud to be partnering with Sarnia-Lambton, a number of partners like Tourism Sarnia-Lambton, the Economic Partnership of Sarnia-Lambton, Libra Credit Union, the Workforce Development Board, Waterfront Regeneration Trust, I'm trying to think of it, and Southwest Ontario Tourism. So a number of partners are helping us bring the program to Sarnia-Lambton. So essentially, we're doing a call out to, as you can see behind me, what's your new tourism idea? So as we talked about, are there tours? Is there a venue that you could host an event that's not been utilized in that way before? Are there partnerships, cultural experiences, storytelling, all of those things that. So on the website, tourisminnovation.ca, which you can see on the screen, just click through to the Spark program and click on Sarnia-Lambton, and you'll see the full application guide. We're looking for new tourism ideas in the early stage of development, so you don't have to be already launched. You don't have to be a pre-existing business. But that being said, if you are a business or even an existing festival, we're putting the challenge out there. How can you enhance your festival or your business? What new offering can you put out there that will appeal to visitors and bring people to Sarnia-Lambton and maybe even keep them to stay longer periods? I'll also say that we have a special category for this particular region, the first time we've done this in the province, around ideas supporting waterfront activities around tourism. So what that means is, are there bike rental opportunities? Are there luggage transfer for cycle tourists that might be traveling through the region and needing to stop along the way? Are there waterfront events? I think, as you said, David, earlier, your beaches and your riverfront are phenomenal, like stunning.
Yeah.
I think there's so much more that could be kind of brought to those areas in terms of an event or a tour or anything like that. Tours can also be, cultural, it can be natural, ecological, even, showcasing the industrial history of Sarnia-Lambton as well. So really, we're trying to spark some ideas generally for Sarnia-Lambton, but also specifically around waterfront and bringing more people to stay and spend time along Sarnia-Lambton's beautiful shoreline.
Yeah, and we're fortunate to have that category added to it all, but it makes perfect sense because of where we live. So, how much money are you giving away?
Yeah, good point. So we're doing a call out. So the deadline, the key date for your listeners, for them and their family, is January 15th. The application is relatively simple. Essentially, anybody in Sarnia-Lambton can apply. So that means anybody over 18, small businesses, small nonprofits. We're really focused on sparking the idea, the new tourism idea. And then there's a selection process. We do have what we call a very friendly take on a tourism dragon's den, if you're familiar with that show. So we'll be hosting that in mid-February, somewhere in Sarnia-Lambton. And the top 5 applicants will be invited to pitch their idea in front of our judge panel and other friendly folk. And at the end of the day, we'll have 3 that will be selected who will each receive a $3,000 grant. And then, as I mentioned, we'll be matching them with a tourism mentor, someone that can provide support at that stage of their idea development to make sure that they move forward with it. But again, the deadline, as you had on your screen, the key date is January 15th. And the full details, the application guide, are on tourisminnovation.ca/Sarnia-Lambton.
Okay, and it's a $3,000 grant, is that right?
Yep, exactly.
Right,
and that
I think that's a big. I mean, everybody likes the money, so you're making all kinds of friends right now. But mentorship, I think, is a real key point in having this happen, because the money helps, and even though it's not a lot of money, it can spark some great things. But the mentorship helps with the long-term success of the idea, right?
Exactly. And we really want, we've all had conversations maybe over the holiday dinner tables where a relative or friend has come back from some cool trip somewhere in the world, and they say, why don't we do this here? Or we did this experience or event or tasting, food tour, whatever, back in some other region around the world. And we want to spark those ideas and say, hey, you could do those here. What's the local twist? Like, what are the opportunities to really put a spotlight on what we have in Sarnia-Lambton and in Ontario generally, and run with it. We made the application simplified. So, really there's no excuse. It's a very 8 simple questions. What's your new tourism idea? Why is it unique and innovative? And a few others. And it's no more than a double-sided piece of paper in terms of text. We do require a short video intro as well. But really, what do you have to lose? Again, 2020, there's a challenge out there. Really there's a community. I can tell you that we have really engaged partners from around Sarnia-Lambton. They're really supportive of our program. And I think, from an economic development perspective, tourism perspective, just engaging more of the community. They've been providing lots of support. And I know, for those people, your listeners out there, what's that idea at the back of your mind that you've always wanted to try out? This is the opportunity, and we'll work with you to make it move forward and hopefully get you to launch it and have something new to announce for Sarnia-Lambton in 2020.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm looking forward to looking into it more myself. And I like the fact that it's simple to apply, because, I've looked at different things, and as many others have, and it's like, oh, I got this form over here, and this one's got to match and it's almost discouraging. You got to wonder sometimes how many people just threw the pen away and said, forget it. I'm just not. So how many great ideas have been lost? So it's great to see this.
Exactly. And that's what we don't want. We don't ever want to hear, I had this great idea, but I never went with it, went anywhere with it because I didn't have the resources or maybe the guidance from a mentor. We're trying to gather around and provide a support system for those folks out there, your listeners, who might have the next great idea for Sarnia-Lambton. And again, it doesn't have to be something huge or complicated. Sometimes the most simplest ideas, in my experience in this world for almost 20 years, the simplest projects or businesses that I've started up were actually the most successful ones. So, so again, anybody, any background, we're going to work with that candidate to move forward with their idea.
Perfect. Well, Justin, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to talk to us here today, and great information, and certainly looking forward to. Well, we'll be following up because we want to watch the Dragon's Den for sure, whatever you're going to call it.
Yeah.
But looking forward to that as well. Thanks again for your time, Justin.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Justin Lafontaine from the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab joining us. What a great idea. Have you got a great idea for Sarnia-Lambton to improve tourism, to help with tourism, to maybe you're already existing, to a new idea? If you were paying attention, it doesn't have to be anything huge and wow. They just want to hear about it. And you can go online to their website, which we've been posting. We'll share that again after the show, and share your idea. You never know. $3,000 could make or break the idea for you, and a mentorship in there as well, which, as we talked about, is very key to the long-term success of your idea. They want to hear from you. Thanks again, Justin. All right. Well, I think we're about done. It's been a great show. I want to say thank you to everybody, of course, who joined me earlier today. Paula McKinlay from the Canadian Cancer Society here in Sarnia. Pigs of Hope. Get down there, get your pig, get it filled up with $50. And then our friend Dave Brown from United Way of Sarnia-Lambton, coming up a little bit short of their needs target this year. If you can help them out, they'd certainly appreciate it for all the programs and services that they provide. And then, of course, again, Justin Lafontaine, again from Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab, and the Spark Mentorship and Grant Program. What's your idea? All right. Well, thanks, everybody, so much for watching. That's all the time I got for you this week. Oh, before I do that, I should say one more thing. Enjoy your Christmas time, your holiday time, your happy time, whatever that time is. Don't worry, I'm going to be back here over the holidays, but make plans to slow down. There you go, slow down and enjoy some time with family and friends. Now I'll do it. That's all the time I got for you this week, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. And I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.